Hello. Good morning. Welcome to the Geo-Negative Access Institute. I am Uddhava, also known as Uddhava Samanich. So, today I'm going to be reading from Code of Earth's Creational System. How Earth is created. See, they want to tell you that it's just relative. Everything is working itself out according to what it's close to and what it's in relation to. But there's more than that. It's underlying principle. And that's what GNA is, and that's what I've discovered in the Geo-Negative axis. And that's what you all have a good opportunity to be a part of. Now you can partake in the knowledge and get ready. A teacher performs in the negative, but without students receiving the positive, the teacher isn't transferring energy or corresponding, unless they inverted the practice themselves to teach them alone. So, somebody could be teaching just to learn. I've heard of people practicing that. That's what that means. The teacher relies on them to open their space as he empties his words. A negation, and they fill their minds. So they're the positive. He's emptying, which is a positive. When put into practice, it manifests all persuasions of life. This is another level of negative that has to do with the soundness energy. So the teacher is acting as a negative from a positive standpoint, because the teacher is actually above. So it intermingles. It becomes a co-joining of the teacher and students. That's how that works. So usually the teacher's above, making him, let's say, the positive, the one who's getting the positive, but the students are getting the positive. They're getting something he's giving. He's giving information he had already. He's giving it to them, emptying it, negating. But it's also a form of, you would say, can he be positive? Well, he could be positive in his attitude. His attitude could be positive as in, be for yourself. Look into yourself. That's kind of positive. Negation would be look for others. Look out for the world. Positive would be look out for yourself. That's the right positive. Negative would be look out for others. So the teacher's looking out for others. In that sense, he's negative, or she. Some argue the soul has the basis for all knowledge. Therefore, it's an awakening and the filling out of the space. People tend to put on a performance more in front of crowds too, for this reason, than in rehearsals naturally. And this is the intention which is being made. Man's intention becomes a supply and demand for a woman to create in their genitalia, and therefore a sacrifice as a positive reactor, seeking a positive ramification to a negative. Either way, it ends in a negative, but if it is so exasperating of energy, it withers off in a positive regard and diminishes into disengagement. So, what that means is that also the function of how men look for women is that the men have the positive reactor, and then they put it into the woman who has the negative reactor. And in the end, there's a negation of fluid, basically, that completes the task. And that's how we know there's also on a negative platform, because it's not like you gain something. See, if it was on a positive world, you would gain something. There could be worlds where people have sex and they actually gain the fluids. Well, women gain the fluids, not always. Women could pour out of them. They could discharge somewhere else. But how sex works is the men uses positive reactor, And then he negates through the process of negation, through the woman's negative reactor, double base negative, life is made. You understand how that works? So that's how Earth's also on a negative. Through the man's negation, the woman's negative reactor, through the positive reactor, one positive, two negatives, you have creation. Something like that. So, of instance. So the intention, man's intention becomes a supply. So I go right into that. I went right into from the intention. So the crowds for this reason that are rehearsed naturally, and this is the intention which is being made. So if you're in a crowd, that aspect, right? You're trying to get the whole crowd to follow you. So that's what that, that's also, let's say, a negation path, because you're trying to get them to negate what they're doing, right? And then accept what you're giving so they can have a positive regard. So the intention also then will come. Now, if the person is seeking a positive regard, then you understand it's not knowledge. Then it's two positives and you don't really gain anything. You just understand like it's an offer. So there's a difference between knowledge. That's why people give knowledge. When they do the presentations, they like to give a lot of knowledge. They give you something, right? They negate, and then they give a positive talk. Oh, if you sign up here, then they get into what they're positive. Give us positive regard. If you sign here, give us this money, we'll take care of you with our group. A lot of these groups are out there. So I think we covered a lot of GNA today. We learned good things, very good things actually, about sexuality. Right? We went over that, more clearly. I mean, GNA has a format, as I explained. I gave this information completely in 2016. And then the Nobel Prize people came out in 2017 with my discovery using some kind of light that they extracted energy from. But then they used an Einstein backline of something he said. Completely cropped me out of it, even though they basically took my discovery. And I still have never gotten any credit for it, partially because of my race. That's why I don't get credit from YouTube either. It's a racial thing. Okay, so let's go into the Srimad Bhagavatam. We're going to go to another book now, because I'll do this random. I want to make sure I do it randomly. I'll leave it up to the Supreme. I don't do it, okay? Sri Narduvacha Iti Ukta Loka Guruna Tam Pranamya Divaukasha Nyavartanta Gito Udvega Menire Chashuram Hatam. The great sage Narada Muni continued, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the spiritual master of everyone, thus reassured all the demigods living in the heavenly planets, they offered their respectful obeisances unto him in return, confident that the demon Hiranyakashipu was now practically dead. So this is the story of Hiranyakashipu and how he terrorized the universe, and how Narada Muni was reporting to the demigods, reassuring the demigods and the heavenly planets that he was almost dead, because his austerity and his energy was messing up the whole universe. So like if we had somebody, like if we do something or the sun does something, we feel it here. We understand that part. So like if a great being does something on this planet and they're very spiritually powerful, it can affect the heavenly planets. And they could, get cursed by them, and receive bad energy from them, and they'll be like, what's going on? Where's our happiness? So this is what was going on. Hiranyakashipu was taking everybody's hat. He was such a powerful being because he came from Jyoti. He came from the spiritual world. He was cursed because he was in the doors of the spiritual world. He wasn't actually in the spiritual world. He was at the doors. He was a guard. I guess he was earning his merits. And he made a mistake. See, that's why there's still guards. I was just explaining earlier that there's no envy. In the spiritual world, there's no envy. See, basically, the spiritual world was one world. It was just spiritual. But then they realized envy. So they had to make two worlds. This was over 7 billion years ago or more. So they had to make two worlds because it was before the last Elementar. They obviously discussed it. Before they made a new creation, they discussed it. How they're going to separate everything more. So they made more separation. The last creation, there was less separation. But now there's even more separation. They had to make worlds like this that are completely material, and you don't know, you're given information. There's a trail of information. You can start with, the Western theology and end up in India and China, Buddhism, all that stuff. So many theologies, so many histories now. Now they even find the Aramaic text. So it's going back and back. So Hiranyakashipu was terrorizing the universe. And that's when Lorna Stringadev later came on and destroyed him. So that's a beautiful story. And it happened in the Satya Yuga, which was the golden age. This is the time when also beings interacted. The heavens interacted very much. This is when they could interact also. See, what we have was history of the Greeks and stuff. Greek mythology. It's not Greek mythology actually. When the gods were still here, they were still part of those lands, because India was part of them. So, and in Greece, it was still connected with India and everything. This is when India spanned all the way out, Afghanistan, everywhere, the Vedic Empire, and so Greece also was part of it. So actually, Iran, all that stuff was all part of India. So the Vedic culture was there, and so the Greeks had information of, they're the last ones to have that. A lot of information about the gods that were still existing in their realm, and the histories. And they're real. A lot of them are real. Don't think they're fake. They sound magical and mystical, but they're real. This was really happening. You got to figure, right? This whole planet was created. If the whole planet was created, this is a magical experience. Look around you. Even humans can make magical buildings appear, right? Like nice buildings and cars. So what to speak of demigods, right? They made these planets. They made us. We're the most intricate computers and all that stuff, right? So don't think magic can't occur, right? Magic is part of us. We're all born of magic, let's say, or whatever you want to call it, mysticism. So, I'll go, so that's good enough for now. But we can go one more verse. Yasmin Mahar Gunara Jan, Grinyate Kavi Bir Muhu, Nate Dura Pidyante, Yata Bhagava Tishvare. O King Prahlad Maharaj, good qualities are still glorified by learned saints and Vaishnavas. As all good qualities are always found existing in his personality Godhead, they also exist forever in his devotees. Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad was the son of that demon that was born in the Golden Age. So these good qualities are always existing in the pure devotees. And this means that we want to give up our envy, because we want to be pure devotees. We want to start practicing. If we're too into this world, too entangled, we're never going to be free from envy and anxiety and misery. So we have to seek spiritual paths. And I hope I taught you something here. And have a good day. Haribol.